You are listening to The Exchange by Evolution. So it's a melting pot of ideas by thought leaders within the industry. And I'm Jamaine, Senior Consultant at Evolution Recruitment Solutions. I'm your host today, and joining me today, I have two really special guests. One of them is Ahmadul from Bitsmedia, heading up the engineering team there. And the other is Xiaoqi, Head of Engineering at NAS company. So really excited to have you guys here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. So just to begin, the topic that we'll be discussing today will be young leaders in engineering. So both of you guys are really young leaders within engineering, and I'm sure a lot of my, the audience that are listening to this podcast, tuning in from wherever, they will be really interested to hear about where you got to, how you got here, the kind of challenges you had to overcome along the way to get to where you're at. So, it'll be good if, Ahmadul, starting from you, you can give a little bit of introduction about yourself and your company and, what you're doing, as well as, Xiaoqi as well. So just a disclaimer out there as well, everything we're sharing on this podcast is going to be all represented by each and every individual's perspective and not the companies that we represent. All right, so here we go.
Thank you for having us, first of all. Really excited to share a few things about me and whatever I know. So I'm Ahmad. I'm from Bitsmedia, as Jamaine mentioned. We work at providing digital services for Muslim people worldwide. So we basically have a mobile application which is called Muslim Pro, which helps the modern Muslim to help practice their faith. And also, on a digital way, they can have like the prayer time that they need to pray, or the holy book that they need to read, also the direction to face. So all these things among a lot of other features. We also have recently launched a streaming service, which is focused on Muslim entertainment, and that's like, you can think of it as a Netflix but for Muslims. So that's basically what we build, and we have a worldwide presence. We have over 140 million downloads so far, and we're still growing strong. So that's a quick intro about the company. For me, I'm actually heading the engineering department at Bitsmedia. So basically all these applications that we build and the technological problem that we try to solve, me and my team are trying to achieve all those things.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for sharing. Very interesting stuff that you've been doing and impacting the society in the right way as well. And maybe Xiaoqi, on to you as well.
Okay, thanks for having me here, and I'm very happy to share about my experience to help other people as well. Because as a young leader, definitely I need a lot of help from other people. Then now I have the chance to help other people, then I will be very happy for it. So for me, my name is Xiaoqi. I come from China. I born in 1991. I came to Singapore in 2010 as a scholar. So I majored in computer science and graduated from the NTU. Before my graduation, actually I already have a startup company with several classmates together. So currently the company is still live, called Formal. So it's quite popular fintech company right now. So before our graduation, we already got some investment from the external investor. So since we got the money, then we just decided to continue to run the business after the graduation. Then I have been there for around half a year. Then at that time I decided I need to quit the company to learn more, because based on my technical knowledge, definitely I'm not strong enough to support the company in the long run. So I quit the company and joined Xiaoqi. Then I worked in Xiaoqi for around 6.5 years. So I grew from a junior software engineer. Then in the end, I become an engineering manager, lead around 30 plus of the members. But at the end of my career at Xiaoqi, I feel my growth in both technical and also the management side is limited already. Then I think probably it's time for me to make some adjustment. Then I do some internal transfer to the other department doing the public cloud service. But unfortunately, because the economic reason, so C did some layoff, so our department is shut down directly. Then at the time, I think probably it's a sign for me to move out and look for some opportunity. So although I can come back to Xiaoqi, but I think since I already moved out, then I just continue. Then after some job search, I joined the current company. It's called the NASA company. So this company is a very early stage startup. We finished the A series and the A plus series funding already. And right now we are doing some community platform. So for example, our evolution exchange podcast can be a community. So you can just form a community on our platform. You can interact with your community. You can upload content. You can do some online events or offline meetup and try to engage each other. So we are trying to help other people to build the community and engage the community better and monetize from the community.
Right, sounds interesting. Both of you guys are doing very interesting work within the community and impacting the community in a very positive way. So thank you so much for joining me on this podcast, and I'm really excited to delve into the topic. So I think a lot of people will be curious, like engineering as a career, did it come naturally to you both? What kind of enticed you to pursue a career in engineering? Is it like, oh my god, I love computers, I want to go into it? Or like you saw that there's a lot of money to make in there and that's why I thought to go into it. So what was the thought process pursuing a career in engineering when, during your university days, for example?
Right, I can go first. So as a kid, when I first got my hands on the computers, it was very exciting for me. So I was always gaming and I was always trying to find ways of doing things that fixing stuff, building smaller things. So that's how I grew the passion for computers. But when it came to choosing an actual career, it never occurred to me that I would be in this field right now. Originally, I wanted to be more on a creative side. I wanted to be a musician. Okay. But being someone from an Asian family is not really a choice, right? You're always like, you can't make money if you're a musician. So I had to go with my second choice, which was to study computer science. Okay. So I started studying and things were going pretty well. And back then it was just Android and iPhones came out. Okay. And there were so many apps out there, and it got to me that I want to build some application as well. I want to learn how to do it. So besides my studies, I started learning how to develop applications, and then I started freelancing while I was still studying, and eventually it landed me where I am today.
Wow. Yeah. So it's like took the second best, and now it's probably one of the better decisions you've made, I hope.
Hopefully, yes.
Okay, that's good. And how about you, Xiaoqi? Was it natural for you?
For me, actually, my mother also majored in computer science, but at their time, the computer science is totally different from nowadays computer science.
I'm sure.
So she cannot really teach me a lot in programming, but she gave me a very good start for me to expose to the computer science and also contact with the computer. So since I was young, a lot of people will know me as talented people in the computer science. I know a lot of things. I have the class to do a lot of the IT services, print the exam paper, this kind of thing, from the primary school to the senior high school. Then, and also during the period, I attend a lot of the contests, such as the web development and also the programming contest. So, however, there is a period for me to be very disappointed about computer science. So, I attended the National Olympics for Information in my previous for three times. And for all three times, I just get the second prize. So it's a little bit disappointing for me because in China, you need to do the Gaokao. And if you just get the second prize, you cannot get the additional benefit to adapt into a good university. So I'm a little bit upset. I think probably I'm not a good material in this field. Then when I choose my major in my university in China, I joined the physics. And unfortunately, I really don't like it. But the lucky thing is there is an opportunity come to me, which is the scholarship from Singapore government. They come to the to China campus to recruit, to get some people to adapt into this program. And we can study here with scholarship, and then we just fulfill some bond here. So this will give me a second chance and let me to re-choose my major when I go back to the computer science. So for me personally, I really enjoy innovation and creating some product for the consumer facing. So even past in my startup in Xiaoqi and in my current company, all the product actually is faced to the customer. Yeah. I enjoy the feeling that people use my product and happy with that and change their life. I feel the meaning of the engineering is have to make the world become better.
Wow, it sounds like, I don't know, man. It sounds like a visionary kind of, making people's life better. Do you feel the same? Like, when someone likes the product you use, when you hear about people using Muslim Pro, do you get the same kind of satisfaction?
For sure. I mean, one of our signature feature of the application is the call to prayers or azan that we say. And that's basically on certain times of the day that call to prayer will play on your phone, and you can actually recognize that because the one that we use is very, I wouldn't say exclusive, but I don't think anyone else uses it.
Right.
So whenever I'm on the streets or I know that it's time to pray,
Yeah.
and I see some random phone having that notification,
Yeah.
it really makes me very proud.
Yeah.
That there is. I know that I'm building the product. We are developing all these features behind the desk. But when you go out there and you see an actual people using your product, that really makes you very feel amazing, feel very proud.
I'm sure. It sounds, I can already feel the second-hand proud feeling here.
And this has happened a lot for me. A lot of times I hear this thing or I see someone using it, then or some of my team members also see it and they go and talk to the people, they get feedback.
Wow.
They always, sometimes they're very happy, sometimes they have some certain issues and they cannot just stop complaining about the product. But that's alright. I think getting the positive and the negative feedback is both worth our time because we are always trying to make the product better for the users.
Sounds good. It really sounds very interesting. Like the work that you're doing, really like you can hear from the ground and how people's lives are changed, for the better when they use the application. So I think both of you guys, I think the fact that you got to hear over 6-7 years, right, before you got to your head of engineering roles, is it around that kind of timeline for you both?
For me, it is about 7 years.
I think it's quite similar, right? You were at Xiaoqi 6 years. Yeah, it's quite similar in terms of runway. So maybe, I think a lot of people will be curious, including myself, in terms of like the runway that you guys got to where you're at today. What were some of the more significant challenges you had to overcome to get to, head of engineering at the respective companies you're at today?
I think for me personally, even though it was the same company since I started my main career, and I have been getting promoted to this role, I think the main challenge that I faced was always people saying, "Hey, you're too young," right? I mean, the topic today is young leaders, right? And the keyword here is young, and that's kind of a blessing, but sometimes it's a bit of a challenge as well, because you're probably trying to explain things to other people who probably know much more than you. They have better knowledge, but when you're trying to bring something to the table, sometimes maybe they will feel like it's not your place to speak about something.
Okay.
So that's one of the challenges I face sometimes, but that's good because it also allowed me to learn and try. I always had to try and improve myself. So I had to also not only, I mean, I started as an engineer, I started as a developer, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, because of all this, it allowed me, it caused me to do more stuff other than engineering, I had to take on more responsibilities. I had to take on, be more proactive, just to show them, even though I'm young, I am capable of doing those things.
Yeah.
So eventually, eventually that helped me to get in here today.
Sounds good. So basically, because of like the role that you played, you kind of pick up more stuff as well, and you force yourself to kind of expand beyond what you do as an engineer.
Yeah, I mean, when you are in a startup, actually, you have to do a lot of these things. When we started, we were only 4 people in the company, and I was the first employee of the company. So back then, we really had to wear a lot of different hats. And for me, that would mean not only do coding, but also help with other things in the company. So yeah, that was a big challenge as well, because you simply don't have enough people to do everything that you want to do.
Yeah.
And today we have grown to 80 plus people company. And to think that everything that we were doing today was done by 4 people back then, and for a very long time, it makes me feel like we have really done something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing. How about you, Xiaoqi?
Okay.
What's
For
your
me-
main challenge?
Yeah, for me, actually, the things the things is a little bit different. So before I joined the company, actually, the company is already have an engineering team for over 2 years already.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to manage is not something from scratch. It's established team.
Yeah.
And within the team, actually, there are a lot of the established working style, mindset, this kind of thing. But for the company, actually, at a pay-working stage. Previously, they are doing some course website. People just upload the content to the website and browse it. So the complexity actually is not really very high. But since we are doing the pay-working, right now we are doing the community platform, we are doing the NAS.io, the technology we are requiring actually changed a lot. So I need to come in and help the team to do some change in order to support the business to grow. And also the team size also is scaling. In the past, we don't really need to care about the performance of the service, the user experience too much. But right now things are changing, so I need to build the team from scratch and trying to find the correct people to make the things really work true. So this is quite challenging, no matter that it's a young leader or not. But since I'm young, actually things become even harder because I'm young, probably I don't really have the authority to make all the change. And the people will challenge me whether the decision you made is correct or not.
Right.
And also for me, I definitely, as a young people, I'm not really a perfect one. So no matter in technology side, I probably have some space to grow. And also in the personality side, probably I'm also not mature enough. Sometimes I may become impatient or become emotional. But I think this is also a good thing because I'm really grow with the company together. I think the bonding between me and the company is also become strong.
Well, that's good. I mean, the fact that you guys were in this rank at this stage, it means the company definitely trusts you guys to do whatever you're doing, and the mandate is there. So I think it's really, the confidence that you have to pick it through and run with it, and believing that you've got it under control even sometimes when things get a little bit more, I don't know, challenging, especially when you're working with people, right? Because we both are working with a lot of people. Sometimes when you're working with people, it's probably not the easiest, especially you can't go hard and hey, I'm head of engineering, but it's more like connecting with people and the tailoring your leadership style to the right people that you're working with. I think that's also pretty important, and I'm sure you guys have a lot of experiences with that. So aside from challenges that you have had to overcome along the way, what will be some of your major accomplishments? The fact that you got here at below 40. It's quite a feat already, but if you were to share in terms of a major accomplishment for your own career, what would it be for each of you?
Okay, so for me, I mean, I've always stayed at the same company. I mean, unlike him here, I did not get the opportunity to build a lot of different things in different companies. However, being in the company, for me, my biggest accomplishment would be the fact that we managed to grow our company from a startup to the stage that we are today. And obviously, I tried to give my best, not only in terms of development skills, but also other areas. Like I was always product oriented as well. I always try to see what's best for the user. So I've learned a lot of skills over here. Besides my engineering, a lot of soft skills. So my biggest accomplishment would be the fact that I'm able to reach out to the millions and millions of users today, and whatever I do gets impacted. Impacts the users sometimes in a very good way, because when you develop something and you see your users are using it, that's an amazing feeling, as I just mentioned. But sometimes in a bad way as well, because you do something which breaks your application and then you are impacting millions of users negatively. But the fact that we managed to grow the product, I managed to grow the team from having not more than 2 engineers to having more than 20 engineers now, being able to impact the product development and the engineering and all these things. So that would be my biggest accomplishment also. I'm sorry it's not as lucrative probably, because people who work in a lot of different companies, they say, hey, I did this in this company, I did that in this company. But for me, it's always been the same one product. And for me, it's like I've developed this product from a very small and made it very big.
Yeah, it's very inspiring, honestly, because I don't think anyone or any random person can say that I stay at a company and developed this thing from literally 0 to 1 and where is it now. Yeah, I'm really pretty fairly sure not most people out there can't say this. Yeah, so I think you definitely should be proud of it.
For me, I still don't feel like it's the end. I think that there's still a long way for me to go.
Right.
In terms of the product development, in terms of also personal skills. So I'm looking forward to those.
Yeah, sounds amazing. How about you, Xiaoqi, in terms of your accomplishment, a major one for yourself?
For me, actually, my achievements in my previous company and the current company actually is totally in different style.
Right.
In my previous company, I joined quite early in 2016 February. So at that time, Xiaoqi is at a very small size. It is a startup company. So probably we only have 20 or 30 engineers in total. Then I witnessed the growth of Xiaoqi from 30 engineers. Then in the end, we have around 20 engineers in total. So my biggest achievements probably is to try to design some architecture that really able to support the company to scale very large. So we defined some architecture called related to the backend for front-end architecture. And we innovatively to define some way for the repo to migrate from the monolithic architecture to the microservice architecture. Then we can able to scale the team to different teams working in different functions. They are able to work efficiently together.
Right.
And then the company can scale up without any problem. Everything becomes smooth. But in the current company, there is no such thing actually. This is also the difference between the ability based on the platform. And so in the big company, you need to face the challenge about so many users, how do you handle the traffic. But in small company, the major thing for us is to deliver the product. So as our company is doing the pivoting, I really need to help the company to find the right track and try to let it stay on the right track. So I make a lot of the internal adjustments. I find the right people, and although I just joined for around 4 months, but actually I already done a lot. Like for the team, there are around 5 people leave the company because of me, and also I hire another 4 people in the Singapore side, try to make some replacement, and also do some process related to the project management, like Jira process, tech review, code review, this kind of thing, and also try to make sure the team is stable and everyone is happy during they have so many big changes.
Right.
So I would say, and also one important thing is I make sure the company can stay for a long time. Like I try to find the correct technology for the business and do some tech exploration, and also I cut down the tech cost for around 60% of the whole tech cost. This is a huge runway for the company.
Right. So helping the company stay sustainable is basically your mandate now, because very, very early stage startup. Right. Okay. Very different challenges, really, because I think you are a little bit way past that phase of but it's still probably your mandate.
But still, like this example of cost saving, right? Still is a big concern. Even though it has been almost 10 years that we have been doing these things, but that does not mean everything that we do is optimized the best way that can be. So now that we have more people joining, everyone has very good ideas, and we are trying to take in everyone's suggestions to improve things further. And even today, we are trying to see how we can optimize our system, how we can optimize the cost of those infrastructure, because we support a few million users every day, and to support that smoothly without having any issues is a big challenge, to be honest. Yeah. So and there's Ramadan coming up, which is another biggest peak of our of the whole year. So we usually support 3 to 4 times of the total.
Oh my god, 3 to 4 times
per day. So that sometimes I would not try to avoid that, but sometimes that creates issues for us. So fixing those things are still a challenge. Making sure we don't have the bottlenecks. Users are able to enjoy everything. Even our streaming service, they don't get locked out of their subscription and all. We're still trying to figure those things out.
Right. I'm sure it's like there's no day that you have nothing to do, right?
Not at all.
Very exciting days. So on that note, right, when you talk about optimizing costs, I think you both both touched on it, and that being a major aspect of your roles as head of engineering, and obviously that's a cost that it's always looking to reduce in every company. How to best optimize it to make it cost efficient. So how do you as a head of engineering balance the kind of like technical aspects of the product that you need to work on with the leadership and management responsibilities that you have? How is that being managed?
I mean, if I talk about myself personally, I think you have to sell your heart.
Sell your heart.
I mean, you have to give up your heart, but I'm joking. So you have to give up a lot of things that you used to do in order to make time for something else, right? So previously I was doing a lot of coding myself, but now as I have grown in my role, I cannot do that anymore, and I have to let my team, who are certainly much better than me at doing those things, I let them take over the things, right? So for me now, my focus has shifted more to company strategies, the technical direction of the company, also working with our stakeholders to understand what do they want, how do they want the product to be, what kind of services they want to integrate, and then translate them to our team, to the product that we develop. So for me, it's a matter of doing less hands-on engineering work, but taking on more on the bigger side. I mean, looking at the bigger picture of things.
Yeah. Do you enjoy this part of your role now?
Very much.
Wow.
I have realized, even though I still enjoy coding, if I get my chance, I will definitely go back to coding. But I also enjoy the fact that I'm able to set the direction of the company. Especially, we don't have any CTO. So for me, I have to really work closely with everyone else in order to fill those gaps as well.
Right. So basically, as usual, wearing many hats.
Yeah.
How about you, Xiaoqi? Like, balancing the technical aspects of the product you need to do to work on, and then on top of that, your leadership, your management responsibilities. You need to speak to the C-suite, make sure that business requirements are met with the technical side.
Yeah, for me, actually, the technical is always the most important factor for my roles, because I need to have very good technical skill in order to figure out what is the challenges in our product, and try to give the team some guidance and also help them to make the correct decision. But I can also realize actually for an individual person, the power is always limited. If you want to achieve bigger things, you need a team. So for me, the leadership and the management actually is the way for me to contribute into the company. So for the leadership, I really need to act as a leader role, help the team to grow together, and give them some example for them to work better, and also make sure they are really happy about the whole things. And for the management wise, I need to collaborate with the other departments. We need to make sure the process is okay. I need to make some standard about the engineering quality and also the process, this kind of thing, so that everything can still goes in a good quality and with very efficient way.
Right. So I guess it's a little bit different on your end, his end, because of how mature the product is as well. So you guys both talk about working very closely with people and the younger people to fill in those gaps, right? Because it's not like a massive company where you just head up there and then you just do the overall strategy. You still kind of like hands-on in certain aspects. So how do you in terms of working with younger engineers and developing them and getting them up to speed? Because I'm sure you also want to have successes, right? So how do you go about doing that in terms of on your own style? How do you manage and mentor the right developers in the right track where you see them kind of grow?
Yeah, for me, I still, even though I don't code as actively as before, but I still understand the technical aspects of things. And I try to keep myself updated so that I can help the young team members that I have. Whenever they have some kind of issues or problems, I always try to engage actively with them, try to find the right solution with them, even though I have to focus on probably a lot of the management side of things as well, and the business side of things. But I do try to help them in terms of these technical developments. Also, sometimes I feel the young developers, they lack a bit of confidence when it comes to a few things.
Right.
Probably either they are not they're not so sure whenever they face some problem to reach out to. So I'm always trying to help them to find the right person to go to, and always try to motivate them to be more proactive and be more communicative with others, right? Because the young team members nowadays, especially the engineers, right? They tend to be a bit more on the introvert side.
Okay.
They don't want to communicate much with others.
Right.
But if you want to grow in your role, and if you want to show everyone that you are not only being a developer, but also you are trying to do other things, start with communicating with everyone, right? That's the simplest thing you can start with. Just whenever you face any problem, and get out of your desk and talk to the person, right? Instead of just sitting there. So I think that's what I try to also advise my team, always be more communicative, and I'm always trying to share with them my past experiences with something, so that they also get to know and learn what to do in certain scenarios. So yeah.
That's really nice. Like basically spending time with them and trying to be present with them when they need help. It's not like when they need help and then they realize there's no one there. So basically trying to create a scenario where there's definitely going to be someone there if they need help, as long as they ask.
Exactly. I mean, you need to build. I mean, when you're building a company or when you're building a product, you also want to have the right people, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be the bottleneck for the rest of the team. You don't want that you are the only person everyone can reach out to, because then when you get busy and you are not available, they are just waiting, right? They have no one to reach out to. So I always try to build that mindset for the engineers that when I'm not around, there still are people who can help out the other ones, other people. So
that's nice. Especially when it's growing. I think that's all the more important.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. And for Xiaoqi, how about your team? Because I'm sure you also hire a lot of younger engineers, right? You mentioned the 4 months that you joined us, you've already hired quite a few people. I assume they are also young.
Some of them are young, some of them are quite experienced.
Okay.
I also expect some senior people can come into the company.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah, for me, actually, I also quite enjoy working with young people, and because they are really energetic, they are very open mindset.
Okay.
So they want to learn something, and they really learn things very fast. So for me to be their leader, I really think about myself when I was young, what kind of leader that I want,
right.
what is the things that I care about. So me, I really care about my personal growth a lot, and also I expect my work is meaningful and not really spend a lot of the extra effort due to the process is wrong or something.
Okay.
And also I hope I can have some mentorship that they really care about me and help me to grow. Yeah. So just now I'm become a leader of the company. I trying to do all the things for my member as well. And in order to achieve this goal, actually, I have tried to set up a lot of the working practice in our company.
Okay.
Like right now, some of them actually even looks like micromanagement. I believe this is really something good for everyone.
Right.
So now in our meeting, we have a lot of practice. Like we have the daily updates, we have the weekly reports, we have the weekly meeting for the whole engineer team and also for the staff team meeting. Okay. And also for every feature, we will do some code review and also the tech design review. This kind of thing. Okay. So through all the work and all the communication, I believe they can really learn a lot from each other. And also the team have a culture that everyone is learning from each other and also collaborate with each other. Then I feel people will be happy with this kind of environment.
Right, sounds good. It sounds like collaboration is the key that you're trying to put in here. So some might say it's micromanagement, but I believe in a overall perspective, it's more collaboration than micromanagement, because I think it's also teaching people to be accountable towards what they've built. It's like not like you've done it and then you just disappear and then there's no not talking about it anymore. So I think in terms of approach wise, pretty much similar. And I think you brought up a point about the fact that you thought about the leader that you wanted to have. So did you guys have a good leader when you were both budding engineers? Because you joined Bitsmedia when pretty much the first person. So how was your mentorship, your personal mentorship experience like? Do you have a leader that you could look up to as well?
For me, when I joined our founder and our then CEO, Erwan. He used to be the one to mentor me.
Okay.
He's an amazing person, and I think till this day, I haven't met a person like him. He was amazing, not in terms of only coding skills.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a founder, but he was also an engineer himself. So I learned and picked up a lot of skills
Yeah.
from him, ways to think out of the box from him. But besides that, I also learned. I mean, he taught me how to be humble, how to talk to other people. He taught me how not to lose your mind when something goes south.
Right.
So he was an amazing leader, and to this day, I don't think I have been able to be at that level yet. So I'm always looking up to him and always trying to be that person.
Sounds
So
good.
yeah,
Wow, so he's the one that brought you into the business?
that's right.
Okay, wow. So it's been a long journey
Yeah,
between...
unfortunately, he is no longer here because we got acquired by another company, and he decided to pursue something else.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, his teachings and the stuff, the effect he has on me, I think it's gonna last forever, and
That's nice.
I'll always try to be like him.
Wow, I think it's quite important, right, to have someone that you can emulate after,
Yes.
certain qualities, because I'm sure, like everyone, you have things to learn off every person that you meet, but I'm sure, for you, it's him that, because he brought you into business and so many good things to learn off, and I'm sure you want to pass on in terms of the character that, he portrayed to you, the kind of qualities that you can pick on and, emulate to the rest of your team, and I'm sure people will see, and people will definitely remember that the person that you are, rather than the things you do. So yeah, I think that's definitely a good thing. So do you have someone like that as well, Xiaoqi, like someone that you look up to and emulate and try to in terms of like your leadership style?
Yes. Actually, when I was in Xiaoqi, my reporting manager actually is the head of the engineering in Xiaoqi.
Right.
So because there are so many people under him, actually he's quite busy. So in terms of daily mentoring, actually he cannot help me a lot. But he's really a good role model for me. Currently, a lot of my mindsets and my method actually is also learning from him.
Right.
So for him, he's a very smart people, but he's also very humble, and also he works very hard. So sometimes it even make me a little bit frustrated. How can I become him if he's smarter than me and also working harder than me? But I think I just try my best.
Yeah.
And also along my career, I also encountered some other senior people. Some of them, they also give me some idea that really helped me to grow. Like when I doing the interview during my job searching, I encountered a hiring manager from McDonald's. He's the site manager in Singapore side. He just tell me, if you tell me what is your achievement, you shouldn't tell me you build a team in Shopee or something. This is not really an achievement. You need to tell me as an engineer, how do you help the company to grow? How do you find the business direction? This kind of thing. This is the meaning of the engineer side. So this is also one of my guidance about my current behavior. So I'm trying to have the company to grow.
Sounds good. Yeah. So I guess everyone thinks a certain way for a certain reason, and a lot has to has a part to play with the people we meet along the way. So I think a part of what we are is a mix of people that we meet, and people that we look up to, emulate after. And I think it's a very, very insightful discussion. But before we end off, I have one last question that I wanna ask you guys. So if there's one thing you wanna leave with the audience today, young leaders in engineering, specifically young leaders who want to pursue this route and eventually become head of engineering in whatever vertical that they are, whatever business they plan to be in, what's one key advice you would tell this person?
I think I'll just repeat myself to what I said earlier. Just be more proactive. I think my team also is very tired of hearing this, but that's the key, because you want to show them that you're not just a day-to-day coder, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong being a day-to-day coder. There are people who want to be IC, individual contributor, and that's perfectly fine. But if you want to grow, if you want to be that leader in your organization, you have to show them that you are really more than just coding. So being proactive, taking decisions where you can help the team, and as Xiaoqi said, helping the company. So do those things more and more, and eventually definitely you get noticed.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep that up, and hopefully you'll also be here today. I mean, in one day, sorry.
Yeah. How about you, Xiaoqi?
Yeah, for me, actually, the point is a little bit similar, but I will say it's more like a growth mindset. So you need to always be care about your personal growth. You need to think about what is the thing you need to improve, and think about your future direction, whether the things that you're currently doing is really helpful for you. And always prepare yourself to be ready for the new opportunities, because sometimes the opportunity just suddenly come in. If you are not ready, then you will not just really get the chance, and then the chance will just leave you away. You can never get it back.
Okay, sounds good. Wow, thank you so much for all your insights today. So, to the audience today, and thank you so much, because that's all the time we have for today. Thank you to both our speakers for providing us with so much insights and their own personal experience within being a young leader in engineering. It's very, very insightful, and I personally learned a lot from this session. And I hope that you guys also had time to reflect about your journey as a young leader within engineering, and still continue to grow your career in this aspect. And I'm sure our audience would have a lot of things that they can pick up from this podcast. So till the next episode, I'll see you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.